So where does that leave you now? There's a bunch of different elements I want to ask
Yeah.
about. What's it been like to lose your faith?
It was it it was really hard. I mean, like I always come back to Tangled because it was very much like that. Went through a depression. I love people, and I was telling the Relief Society president to please not come over because I knew that if they came over, it'd be easier for me to come back just because I was wanting to have that community. And so I just told them to just leave me alone for a little bit. No one talked to me, and because I just need to like be by myself. And it was really hard, and I was really depressed. I was crying. I was going through grieving process. And I mean, I forgot to mention this, but my brother passed away when I was living in BYU. And so I could relate that same kind of similar grieving process that I went when I lost my brother to losing the church. And it was like this whole thing. I was like, I didn't know who I was anymore. Everything that I ever did had to do with the church. Everything. The what I ate, what I would watch, what I wore, where we would go,
How you spoke.
how many kids I was going to have,
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah, yeah.
And I just was like, who am I? And I was mad because I felt like not only did I not who I was, I find out that there were active members doing things that were seen as bad, and there were so many people doing that, and I felt like I missed out. Like that I was trying so hard to be such a good person, and to find out that there were a lot of people who were doing all kinds of things and would, elope and get married and, have sex and then come back, and that they were still, I mean, things like that I was hearing. And I just thought, I was like, and just now hearing that, and it's just like, wow, like I feel like I just missed out on a lot of experiences that, humans have, and I just didn't have it.
Yeah.
And, I felt frustrated because like when it came to marriage, intimacy in my marriage, it messed with some of that. And obviously, of course, with some of the abuse things, but also just learning that it's bad, 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 and then it's good, good, good. And that doesn't do well in a marriage, and like, and just being so frustrated that, like, who would I have been? And then I would think like, I think at the same time, after I went through that grieving process, then it helped me see like that, then I wouldn't have met my husband. And, there are a lot of things that I'm grateful for because of the church that shaped me into who I was. But at first I was like, who am I? Like, like there were times like, for instance, I would be driving, and when I was Mormon, if I were to ever like listen to rap or even the music, and I would stop, this is weird, but I think people need to hear this, because like if I would stop at a stop sign, I would turn my music down because I didn't want to be that Black person. I didn't the stereotype that Black people all listen to rap and blah, 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 blah. And then now I was trying so hard to embrace those things that I was rejecting about about Black culture, And I'm not saying rap is Black culture, but do you know what I mean? Like there were things that I just felt like I don't know who I am, and here I am. Like I felt like a broken Black person. I don't know. Like
Yeah.
it's hard to articulate because it's so weird to say, but I'm just trying to be open and honest.
Yeah.
And I know, so I don't know, and not everyone can relate to it, but that was my story, and learning to like be okay, like before I wouldn't watch certain things because Black culture, what Black people did was like actually anything that the church favors European. So like actually anything that was like different culturally or wasn't following the commandments, was bad. And for me to like reconcile that and like see like, oh, like my brother, that's not bad. And like, it's been hard for me.
A bunch of things you had determined as bad.
Yeah.
People, ways of speaking,
Yeah.
culture, movies,
Yeah.
music, hairstyle. All of it you had deemed as bad.
Yeah, because
dark, loathsome, whatever, unholy, unrighteous.
Yeah.
You're like, oh my gosh. Well, what was bad is maybe good, and and some of the things that was good is actually bad.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
And that identity that you struggled so long to forge, you lost it again. You struggled with it for so long, and then all of a sudden you're in your 20s, late 20s. Who am I?
Yeah.
Who the freak am I?
Yeah, exactly. It was like, I think it was just, I finally felt safe. And then I went through some grieving. And then it was like everything that I was like pushing against that I didn't like, but I just was kept keeping back. And I'm fully embracing my authentic self.
Yeah.
And that's so great.
Yeah.
That I'm not judging myself when I want to do this or that or this. It's like I can just breathe. And I think that's one thing I wish that anyone who's feeling that I felt, I wish that they could feel the same way. And so if anything, I really hope that anyone who's still in the church could, you know, because like I look at my mom and I'm like, she's still in it, but she is so authentically herself. She tells people off if they say on the pulpit, you know, she is very much herself. And I feel like if I could have been that, if I was more like that, then maybe I could have stayed. But I feel like for me personally, and what I want to be, this is not my path for now.
You talked about embrace. What does it mean now? How are you making sense of what it means to be Black now? It's probably a weird question.
No, it's not.
Are you on a journey of discovering what that means?
I still am. And I think the thing is I'm just Marlena. So whatever it is, it doesn't matter. And I think, like, yes, I'm Black, but at the same time, that doesn't define me. And I think that's kind of where I'm also going to.
Yeah.
You know, it's like yes, but at the same time, it's like I'm allowing myself to have the journey I'm going to have, and it doesn't have to look like anyone else. In fact, I know that there's going to be even some Black people who had, you know, who were raised in the church, and their stories are going to be so different, and I'm okay with that. Right. I think that is kind of where I'm going with it. It's okay that I'm, you know, yeah.